You could also have, just a single lending position, lending USDT or USDC on Aave. And then you could have a handful of PTs. That's basically like your bond ladder. And then maybe some mutual funds over here on Morpho, these managed curated vaults, which are basically mutual funds. And so together, all of those different positions together really, I think, help to create a diversified portfolio where you mitigate risk. And if I can throw in a couple liquidity provision positions, man, if I can do a blended 30 or 35%, mostly in fixed income, but with a little bit of spot and a little bit of liquidity provision, I think that's just phenomenal. So what do you guys think?
I,
Yeah.
I first thank you very much. Really, this is like a detail, very like the mechanic that you went through, and it's a lot of. I really thank you very much because we learned a lot on this one. The second thing is, let's say I have $100 of capital investment, and what is your like portfolio allocation into a bond, fixed income? Like, do I put 25% of my $125 in that? I mean, did you do an allocation? Like, okay, if I want to do a blended fixed income portfolio, I mean, I should always, I mean, these are like short term, like 150 days, 130 days. Did you think about it this way? Because I looked at Lynn Alden now that
Mhm.
I mean, she shared, like, I mean, I mean, like, it's really, there's a portfolio that integrate traditional finance plus the fixed income plus crypto. And because I'm a little bit concerned about like one way bet that if I'm not into like I'm ignoring like I mean you're saying the tokenization all this thing. So just to fix on this one, I know you got to run to a meeting. Did you think of percentage allocation in a portfolio?
Yes, absolutely yes. And so the percentage allocation for this portfolio, the goal here is to eventually deploy $100,000. And that means that every position can be no greater than 5%. And that would be at a maximum 5% of the portfolio. And so if I'm just getting started here and I want to scale this up to 100K, then I'll start with each position being 1%. Because if, heaven forbid, something were to go wrong with Main Street Finance, if I had allocated 25% of my portfolio to this Main Street Finance and those guys go belly up, or there's an exploit, or you name it, something goes wrong, I would be very, very unhappy to lose a quarter of the portfolio overnight like that. So the risk management that I'm using, if I hop in here to the investor mindset course and I take a look at lesson 6, this is actually really useful. The psychology of risk management. And this helped quite a bit. But another thing I did is I just thought to myself, well, I asked myself this question. If one of the positions were to go to zero overnight, let's say that one of these protocols were to be exploited or something horrible were to happen, if the position itself were to go to zero, would I survive? And if yes, okay, I can put the position on. If no, it's too big. There's too much of an allocation to that protocol or to that strategy or to that chain. So yes, I did. And my goal here it would be best if I could allocate maybe 3% or so, so that would mean on a $100,000 portfolio, roughly $3,000 per position. I think that would be pretty great. Got to keep in mind though, if you're going to be in PTs on mainnet, a $3,000 PT on mainnet might not be large enough. So just taking into consideration slippage and gas on entry and exit, if I'm only going to allocate 3K to each PT, that just might not be enough. I might need to allocate the full 5% to the PT bond ladder positions within the portfolio. So just something to think of mind, but you're absolutely right, Ramsey. And in fact, that's the next step here is to really improve upon this portfolio allocation little part of the tool here, where what I envision is you could tell it, hey, I've got $100,000 I want to allocate, and I want to allocate to these types of strategies. How much should I allocate to each position within those strategies? So an example would be if I want to allocate $100,000 to the overall portfolio and I want to have some liquidity provision, some PTs, some bond ladder stuff,